I got an email today. He's like, what is your plan when the SPX makes new high? If that happens in 2027, then I think I'll be just fine.
Right. Yeah, like S&P is buoyant after having a 6% peak to trough correction. The Nasdaq, a nearly 9% peak to trough correction. I stuck my neck out. I did some diligent chart work, and I gave our readers a spot to buy Bitcoin at 82K. We got hit on the bid. We were ready to manage the risk, and now it's bouncing to like 87, 88K.
Today is a ball smashing round. Today is a real move.
The gold rush is here. I want to mention the TG Macro Conference has officially signed Grant Williams to appear in February. We have 2 more super guests to announce on December 1st, and the price is going to go up on that day to $1,250. Make sure you get your early bird ticket now. What is happening, good people? I am here to record the Thanksgiving Macro Dirt number 74 with my man Jared Dillian. How you guys doing today?
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, what's up, JD? How you doing?
I was born in 74.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great year. Very
Yep.
cool, man. Very cool. What made you bring that up?
Macro Dirt number 74.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. Why are we talking about that? That was good. All right. We are officially in sync, ladies and gentlemen. Born in 74 for Macro Dirt 74.
Now, you were born in 69?
68.
68, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an old dirty bastard, man. Just brutal. Just brutal. But it is what it is. I feel young, so that helps.
Yep.
And let's dig right into the markets today because we have a great layout. We're going to talk about markets. We're going to teach you guys how to not be a turkey in the trading ring. And we're going to talk about gratitude, which is what Thanksgiving week is all about to me. So if we start off in the markets, JD, for me, it's all about drawdowns in bull markets. The S&P is buoyant after having a 6% peak to trough correction. The Nasdaq, a nearly 9% peak to trough correction. We're now bouncing back towards resistance levels after bouncing off of the 100-day moving average, putting us kind of in the middle of the recent range pretty quickly. Tell me your thoughts on the stock market.
You know, it's funny. I got an email today from a guy I've been friends with for a long time. He likes to send me obnoxious emails. And he sends me an email today. He's like, what is your plan when the SPX makes new highs? Right? And, what I'd like to say to him is like, well, if that happens in 2027, then I think I'll be just fine.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, like totally.
I mean, I've been watching the tape for the last couple of days, and I'm net short. I'm short, right?
Okay.
So this 6% move has been pretty good, and I'm waiting to add to the short. So I watched the price action. SPOOs rally about 40 or 50 points. And I'm like, nope, doesn't seem like it's done. They rally another 40 or 50 points. Nope, doesn't seem like it's done. I'd love to make this trade bigger, but talking about being a turkey, like one of the turkey things that you can do is to just like be too aggressive and get way out over your skis. So if you're wrong, you're just totally hosed.
Yeah. Yep. That kind of feeds into you don't want to be adding to losers.
You only want to be adding to winners.
Right?
Winners.
Yeah, like this is the simplicity of it, right?
Average losers.
Exactly. And all that's going to happen, I'll bet you 9 out of 10 times, is you're just going to have a bigger loss at the end of the trade.
Yep.
And it's going to be a bigger hole to dig out of. And mentally, what it does to you, it puts you away. It literally puts you away mentally. I mean, I've been there, and I'm in the middle of a struggling trading system situation right now that I have just considerably cut the risk down on that situation so that I could buy some Bitcoin. But the situation I got into myself was very much that way, where I was being a stubborn trader and it's not working out. It wasn't working out. And I'm really not a stubborn trader. But it was one of those things where you get an axe to grind with the markets and you don't realize you're doing it. And you're like, no, I'm just kind of playing around here. I want to feel this out. And next thing you know, your loss is bigger than you thought it was going to be.
Yep.
So it's one of those. What's positive to me in the market? I'm bullish. I'm staying bullish. I've kind of maintained a bullish position. We kind of gauged this right last week with Nvidia earnings because I feel like Nvidia knocked the tape back off, knocked the Nasdaq back, Nvidia all the way into support, and now we're seeing the leadership of metals and mining and industrials and things like that pulling us out of
Mining is having a huge day today. Mining is on fire.
big day. What's important to me about that dip was nothing really changed about the leadership, right? We've still got gold miners, industrial miners, uranium miners out in front of performance. What happened there was actually semiconductors wound up gaining on solar stocks and aerospace and defense in the leadership for the year. So, today gold miners and semis are at the top of the leaderboard. Uranium's right behind it. Industrial miners are right behind that, right? So this is really coincidental that, or not coincidental that the three leaders of the pack are right back on top as the market recovers. That's what's bullish to me. We have to go right to this now because I feel very much like Bitcoin sell-off was weighing on the stock market, weighing on risk, weighing on the negative sentiment that was not going away in the last couple of weeks. I stuck my neck out. I did some diligent chart work, and I gave our readers a spot to buy Bitcoin at 82K. We got hit on the bid. We were ready to manage the risk, and now it's bouncing to like 87, 88K, so I feel good about that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good trade. And I feel like if Bitcoin, that was a 36% peak to trough correction in Bitcoin. I feel like if that was the bottom there, then stocks are definitely going to go up from here.
I mean, a couple things. I'll make a couple points here.
Yeah.
First of all, the move today is a vol smashing rally, right? Like that's, today is a real move. Like Friday was not a real move. Friday the VIX was up, I think, but today is a vol smashing rally. So this is like also another thing I want to point out. You know what else has rallied in the last couple of weeks is healthcare.
Yeah, big
Healthcare
breakout.
has rallied.
Beautiful chart breakout.
And if you remember the whole story around the election when Trump got elected and RFK took over HHS, he's like RFK was going to go after the pharmaceutical companies. He was going to prevent them from advertising. He was going to, cut the prices on drugs. Like, so a year later, like none of this has really happened. And like Eli Lilly and the rest of them are freaking ripping.
Yep. Pfizer's off the lows, right?
Yep.
We had written that off for dead. Moderna still kind of at the lows, doesn't look great, kind of a different situation. But the healthcare chart is a typical bull trend, pullback, consolidation, and breakout again, right? Yep. It's literally a textbook chart. It's kind of one that I'm sorry that I missed, but I never trade healthcare, even though it fits right into the pattern of a typical TG trade. I just don't know enough about it, and I'm not comfortable with the sector. Yep. So it's one of those sectors that I don't get along with, so we keep our distance from each other, me and healthcare. Gold is interesting. Do you know why gold is interesting to me today, JD?
Well, we just had a gap up about a half an hour ago. I mean, it was a big. Are we breaking out of the consolidation? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, yes. It's starting. We've obviously been consolidating in a bit of a pennant flag. It's now testing the top of the pennant flag, potentially breaking out. But I hated opening up my email box to an email from Tucker.
Oh, wait. Let me guess. Tucker Carlson is starting a gold miner.
Close enough. He's starting a gold SPAC. No,
a gold SPAC.
Yeah. No, he is. This is the subject of his email was faith in the dollar is collapsing. So I'm like, oh God, I got to crack this open and see what Tucker has to say, right? The gold rush is here. We're interviewing some guy that runs a gold operation or whatever. But this is important to me because the mainstream media, Tucker is the mainstream media now. Right? Like he gets way more views than the mainstream media. So I feel like you have to consider that as a little bit of a sentiment signal. Mm-hmm. And as bullish as I am and as excited I was about that we're testing the top of this pennant flag, I'm like, oh man, like this is like more front page than front page.
Yep.
Who of Tucker fans hasn't listened to that already today? Like that's going to be a big one for him. So just something to consider. And all it leads me to believe is that the consolidation is going to be longer.
Yeah.
We'll have more cheap buying at the highs, and then she'll back off into support, and then we'll struggle a little bit. But the gold and silver charts both look pretty good to me.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is
Silver's done better than I expected. I mean, you remember I was saying I thought it was going to pull back to 41, 42. And like, what did it get down to, like 46-ish, something like that?
yeah, right, exactly. But the most important thing for silver for me is that thing had a double top on it that should have been an up and back down. And it had a double top and backed off and didn't even touch the 50-day moving average. Like, I thought that was going to be a crash, maybe one or two moving averages there. And she held in really, really nicely. So you have to give that a lot of credit where credit is due. I think that's important. But I'm going to watch the Tucker video later on and see what it's about. I love the text, though. I couldn't wait to read what he wrote about it. Let me read you this quote from his newsletter. "We find no joy in reporting this, but faith in the U.S. dollar is collapsing. America's ruling class has destroyed its value, leaving people around the world searching for a replacement. Gold is the answer. As the new global reserve currency, gold has seen its biggest one-year rally in nearly half a century. Countries and individuals are embracing it as the new holy grail." Gold is more important than ever, right? Right, JD, right? Like, you're like, oh my God, the rhetoric, the verbiage, the whole thing is so sensational that you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm not even predicting
By the
this.
way, did you know Rush Limbaugh, and I heard this from a reputable source, but Rush Limbaugh, I mean, he made 5, 6, 7 million a year being a radio host, which is, really, really good money. Mm-hmm. He made 70 million a year off of a newsletter. Like he had a newsletter which wasn't very expensive. He charged like $70 for people to subscribe, and he got like 1 million subscribers, and that's where he made most of his money, was off a newsletter.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Well, we're in the right business, you and I.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? I mean, or at least hopefully.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So I guess, leaving off about markets, we're kind of in the middle between the peak and the bottom of the trough right now. I'm still bullish. JD's still leaning on a little bit bear side. We're not out of the woods yet. In the bear case of the S&P, there are still 4 lower highs on the chart that have to be violated. And if that doesn't happen, she's going to curl over here. So I'm kind of with you. I remain bullish, but I'm very conscious about that. So I'm being very careful here. So are you ready to go off markets and teach people how not to be a turkey on Thanksgiving? Right?
Yep.
The whole idea in trading is that you want to not get feasted on by markets, right? You want to learn to pray with an E, to trade on your toes, as I put it. And there are a couple of sayings that there are kind of axioms in trading that JD and I are going to riff on right now. Riff on this one for me, JD. Don't let your opinion of what should happen bias your trading strategy.
Oh, God. I talk about this all the time.
Go.
So in markets, you should have an opinion about what will happen, not what should happen, right? And a lot of this actually has to do with politics, because people get their political beliefs like spun up in their trading,
Yes.
And regardless, I'm trying to think of an example right now, but I'm at a loss. But let's say Biden is president, right? Mm-hmm. And Biden is going to pass some law, right? And I think the law is wrong, right? I disagree with it. But I know that if he passes the law, X, Y, and Z are going to happen, right? So I am going to trade this, even though it's opposite of my beliefs and what I think should happen. I'm going to trade what will happen,
Beautiful, man. Exactly. So my riff on that would be along the lines of how the old trader TG that never made any money used to figure out his view of the world and express it in positions, and then sit there and wait for his view of the world to transpire.
Yep.
Never happened. So I started writing down what the market was actually doing and reading about it to myself, and then deciding what positions I was going to put on based on what the market was telling me it's doing. So that's kind of a similar way that I look at it in a different way. I kind of remove my opinion from the situation. I tell an objective story about the market and then decide where I want to participate in that objective story.
I don't mean to be glib or make this sound like it's easy, but the market really tells you what to do. You know, it's not like the goal isn't to have a 200 IQ and be smarter than every single market participant. You know what I mean? That's not the goal. The goal, like literally, you know, there was this guy on Twitter. I'm not going to say his name. The guy used to piss me off all the time, but eventually I came around to his wisdom, right? And like he would look at a chart and he'd just be like, "It's going up," and I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. That is just, you are a simpleton. The chart is going up, so buy it. Well, you know, 7 years later or whatever, like I actually kind of agree with that logic. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, that comes out of the story that, you know, I write myself an objective story about the markets by gauging and monitoring performance of each sector and security. And when I started to string together series, you know, in your head, you're like, wow, this sector has been up 4 weeks in a row. Maybe I should pay attention, right? Like, don't be a wise ass and say, oh, I'm going to come and fade this thing. Come to the story and say, up 4 weeks in a row, what's going on here? Maybe I should be in this thing. Like maybe it goes up for 40 weeks.
Yep.
And that's when I found my most successful trades. Do with that what you will, listeners.
The other thing I'll say is you and I have completely different styles, completely different processes. We have different approaches at coming at the market. I do what works for me. You do what works for you. A lot of people think that it's like their way or the highway. Like they have the answer and everybody else is doing it wrong. So if I see somebody on Twitter that's doing something with a chart or a stock or something, and it's like the opposite of what I believe, I just say to myself, look, it works for them, right? It's not my style. Like it's not something that I'm going to do, but it works for them and they're making money and I'm making money and there's nothing to argue about, you know?
Right. You can look at your P&L as a painting. Right? And you can paint a beautiful P&L and I can paint a beautiful P&L and Stan Druckenmiller can certainly paint a beautiful P&L, but we're guys that know how to make money using different brushstrokes, different colors, different size canvases. The whole thing is totally different, but it translates into the same thing, a pretty P&L. Good way of looking at it, JD. I like that. Let's talk about this. This is something that I've been trying to teach some of the younger traders that I've been working on. Here's a very short thing. Don't play all the time.
You don't need to be involved in every single trade. You know what I mean? There was some stock I was looking at recently, and I remember what it was. It was a stock that I should have been paying attention to and didn't, and I missed like a 20 or 30% move, and I was pissed at myself. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have to be involved in every single trade. I don't have to have every single winner. You know, I don't.
That's very important. My riff on that would be when I take breaks from trading. And I've had periods in my life when I've taken long breaks, even after having terrible experience with you know, trading years and years ago, and then sometimes just getting ice cold for a couple of days or weeks and saying, you know what, I want to be more flat here. You develop a very clear view of the world without positions on. And if you have a pile of money that you're looking to invest and you have it earmarked for your next really good idea and you sit there flat for a little while, the good ideas become clearer because you don't have anything else clouding your vision, clouding your trading subjectivity or whatever it is. And then the next one that really lands on your lap, you're like, this is the one that I want to take the money out of cash and put it into.
Yep.
Right? Be discerning. Decide what's the better trade. Do the risk calculations in your head. See what your odds are on some of these trades. That's really important to me. So the last thing we want to go over real quick, beware of new era thinking, i.e., quote, it's different this time. Go.
I mean, we're dealing with that right now, right? With like this AI bubble, which is, you know, one of the things we were talking about the last couple of weeks. I mean, you were born in 68. I was born in 74. In 1999, I was 25 years old. I was just getting my feet wet in the markets. I was a local on the P coast, right? And there are iterations of everything that is happening now all the way back in history, right? And we can see what has happened in history. Wasn't there a book like 15 years ago called "This Time Is Different"?
Yeah.
It was like the Rogoff and Reinhardt book
Yes.
about like emerging market countries blowing up and stuff like that. Like this time is never different. I mean, no two situations are always exactly the same, but it rhymes. And if whatever we're going through right now, there's some analog in history.
Yep, 100%. You have to continue to apply. There's nothing new under the sun to trading, no matter what. Like if I want to just do a recent example of that, it was literally when gold was trading 4,400 and RSI and stochastics are like throwing moisture off the screen. It's so overbought. And all the debasement trade guys are going, no, 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 no. You don't understand. This isn't going to stop anytime soon. In fact, it's never going to stop. The dollar has to debase so much further. And you're like, all right, this is still a security here, right? And everybody's long it, everybody's bullish, and it's gone vertical, and you're going to tell me it's not going to stop? Okay, that's when I start moving some chips into the table, you know what I mean, and placing some bets. But I think it's really important to just remember during every mania, people are going to be, the feedback is going to be trying to convince you that this time is special, and you have to kind of never leave your feet on that idea. Very, very important, man. So hopefully that helped people a little bit. We're going to continue to do these things. I like going over like trading axioms with JD. I think it's really healthy, both for us to go over them and air them out together and for listeners to hear it. So since this is Thanksgiving week, JD, and it's one of our favorite topics to talk about, let's hack up gratitude and our approach to that, right? I'm always, one of my sort of rabbis in life is John Gordon, my fraternity brother, who is one of our friends and a motivational speaker. And the thing that I never let leave my brain, a quote of his, is if you are feeling blessed, you won't be stressed, because your brain cannot process gratitude and anxiety at the same time. So that's one of the reasons when I walk my dog, like the first 15, 20 minutes of my dog walk are gratitude. Like, who am I thinking of? Who do I need to be thankful for? Who should I reach out to? Who haven't I reached out to? Who do I owe a phone call to? And things like that. And it makes me feel good. And I think that that's an important way to carry your emotional self. What are your thoughts, JD?
Man, I got so much to be grateful for.
Right?
Been married for 28 years. We're doing great. Got my 7 little fuzz balls. They're the most important thing to me in the world.
That's great.
I got this big house, which you got to see when you came down for the conference. Teaching, trading, DJing in Vegas. I mean, who gets to do that? It's incredible stuff. The one thing I am most grateful for is my mental health, right? Because 20 years ago, I didn't have it, right? I've written a book about it, so everybody knows. I don't mind talking about it, but I am severely bipolar. That's what Street Freak was about. And if I'm ever in New York and I see some guy on the corner barking at cars in the street, like, dude, I think to myself, that could be me.
Yeah.
That could be me under different circumstances. That could be me. I was working for Lehman Brothers. I went to New York Presbyterian. I got the best health care in the world. They got me on medication that I've been on for 20 years. It works. And it has unlocked my potential in a way that was never possible, So, every morning when I wake up, I think about that, about how grateful I am that I have my mental health,
Beautiful. And I'd argue that is your gratitude for all of that is probably the mindset behind how you are able to accomplish and achieve so much, right? Like you are an inspiration to me in terms of, your prolific writing, that you're a published author, that you're a DJ and things like that. And all of that comes from, being proud of what you've earned, right? And proud of what you have and protecting it and taking care of it. And that's all part of being grateful for it. right? It's like I wake up every day thinking of my 3 kids and how to make, how to leave them something behind and make their future a little bit easier or better and things like that. And that's the stuff that keeps me going every day, and it's really important to do that because like I said, like you pointed out, when you see the guy, road raging in traffic and stuff, it really at this point in life, even though I've been that person, I'm not anymore. And it teaches you who you don't want to be. Like I see that person now and I'm like, oof, I feel bad for that cat. Like keep that guy away from me and I feel bad. Keep going past me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. The whole thing, How about this quote by Jean-Baptiste Massillon? You ready? Gratitude is the memory of the heart. That's a good, simple quote, right?
Yeah, I like that. I really like what I like what John Gordon said about what was it like if you're blessed, then you're not stressed.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's important. You have those when you're feeling blessed, you have those good endorphins running through your body, and when you're stressed or your temper is up, you've got cortisol running through your body, right? And that if you understand that basic premise of it, they are two completely different things, and that's why they cause you to react differently. And when you learn about it, is like stress is like the #1 killer in the world. It causes heart disease, it causes all of the rest of your health mechanisms to break down. So that's why it is important to always take care of your health, preserve your health and all that. But I don't want to get too preachy. You know what I mean? All this stuff is something that you got to pick up on your own. Here's a great one from Albert Einstein. I'm grateful for all the people who said no to me. It's because of them that I did it myself. I like that. I like that one. It's important. I like that because that's like, you can't let yourself get babied, whatever it is. There's a lot of things that you're going to kind of take care of on your own. I think that's important. But I think we put together a great podcast, JD, today. We put together the markets. We've got opposing views on the S&P. We covered how to not be a turkey in the trading ring. And, man, you and I are grateful to our subscribers, our listeners, our dual sub subscribers, and we can't thank all of you people enough for tuning in to everything that we do every week. We love doing this for you.
Absolutely.
And we're excited to come back every week for another 74 and then keep going from there. So thank you for listening today. I want everyone to enjoy their Thanksgiving. Come to the sign up for the Macro Dirt dual sub and come to the TG Macro Conference in Nashville in February. That's going to be a great one. We just announced Grant Williams, and I've got 2 more announcements coming up this week. So, JD, we're going to sign off. We're going to see everybody after Thanksgiving. Have a great Turkey Day, my man.
Adios. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hasta la pasta, everybody. Peace.